back at it again. What's up with everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody has, had a halfway decent day. I hope you're not one of the people whose family members have been caught up in the bullshit. I hope you're not. And if you are, I'm sorry. I'm going to start off by saying if you are a person who had a family member violently snatched away from you because of this Trump regime, as an American citizen, I'm fucking sorry for you. You don't deserve that. We are capable of doing so much better. What's up, that bits? Yeah, we're capable of doing so much better, and we should do so much better. And there's no excuse for not doing so much better. We're not better than you as human beings. Damn, excuse me. Hold on. Oh, here we go, y'all. Sorry about that. Damn. Sorry about that. Let me go back. Let me go back. Thanks, Bits. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with everybody. I'm a little late today. But here we go, y'all. I got this picture up because this is what's going on right in your face. Elon Musk, Ghislaine Maxwell, yes, and this is reality. They lied to you. You've been lied to your face. And no, you don't get to smack the hell out of them for lying to you in your goddamn face over and over and over and over again, right? They did it because they're part of some a group of people that want to own the United States of America. Yes, and you're dealing with people that have multiple passports, multiple citizenships. So if you want to know, does Elon Musk give a fuck about you or Peter Thiel? No, because they both have three different citizenships. Elon Musk has three different citizenships. He hasn't chosen one country he's loyal to. You see, Peter Thiel has not chosen one country he's loyal to. I only have one passport, and I'm an American citizen, and I live outside of the U.S. That's not what you're dealing with these people. These people are elitists that lie in your face, can involve themselves in sex trafficking schemes, and lie about it. That's what they can do. And they are elitists. They don't give a fuck about you. I mean, just the mere fact that they would lie about their relationships together to the American people while having three different citizenships means they don't give a fuck about you. You have to understand that to fix this problem. They don't give a shit about you. And yes, they lied to you in your face before. They lied to your face again and again and again and again. And it's slowly coming out. Yes, these people did all have relationships together in the past. And yes, they are all elitists. And no, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't. Donald Trump is a third generation at best. In Denmark, I think he might be called second generation in some cases, or in the US. But his grandparents, Donald Trump, came to the United States of America. They have nothing to do with the Civil War. Zero. Nothing to do with the War of Independence. Zero. You have to understand that. Elon Musk is a naturalized citizen, American citizen, with two other citizenships. Peter Thiel, who's behind JD Vance. So you got Musk behind Trump, Peter Thiel, who's behind JD Vance. Three goddamn citizenships. Just ask him, who is he loyal to? Because right off the bat, having three citizenships means he's not fucking loyal to you. United States citizens, they are not loyal to you. You can't be loyal to three goddamn different places. You know what I'm saying? And all you have to do is ask yourself, well, which one are you most loyal to? You see what I'm saying? So this is the situation you're in. You're in a situation where people that want to own the United States of America, that are elitist, that think they are better than other Americans, can lie in your face and get away with it. And this is what MAGA has accepted. They've accepted these people as caring about them. As foolish as it is, this is what they have accepted. MAGA people have accepted that elitists with three different citizenships are loyal to the United States of America and give a fuck about them while they are buying it up and fleecing it wholesale. That's what MAGA people have accepted. Sadly enough, this is how their brain works. Now, I just had a conversation the other day with a person close, somewhat close to me. You know, you could say we don't talk every day, we don't talk every month, but we talk time to time. And it's a person that lives in Denmark too, Copenhagen, Denmark. The person comes from an immigrant family. They were born here, but they come from an immigrant family. I'm not going to say where. And I asked the person about this dynamic of what does she think about people like Elon Musk, right? Peter Thiel, these kind of people actually having immigrant background, fostering and promoting, pushing through their money a regime that is claiming to have a culture war, claiming to be a part of American culture, and going out there and treating other immigrants, pointing fingers at them like they're nobody. And I asked, what does she think about that? Because it's very odd, because most immigrants in Denmark would never understand that. Not even the immigrants would never understand it. Danes don't understand it. They would never understand this dynamic. They would never understand how you could let immigrants come into your country and own every fucking thing while you're claiming to be trying to protect the culture of the United States of America. And this is something that American people need to understand. No one else understands this. Very few people could even see why any American would think this is okay. And it's not about them being immigrants. These are elitist. This man is not just an immigrant to the United States of America. He has 3 different citizenships. Peter Thiel has 3 different citizenships. They do not have deep roots in America, yet they are funding a policy. They are funding a culture war that masks itself in American nationalism, using the Maga organization, using the Maga people, right, as a veil, while they're wholesale trying to buy up the country. And having culture wars is one thing, but when you don't give a fuck about the culture war at all, and you're just funding it so you can buy and own everything, that's something else. And that is what's going on in the United States right now. That's what's going on. So, in any case, now back to the current news. Before we get into connect the dots, I just want to let folks know that some things have been developing over here in the EU. And one of them in Denmark is they have arrested an Iranian spy, they believe, that has something to do with some of the drone activity here. Now, as of late, there's been a lot of drone activity over here. So that means there's been a lot of drones getting shot down, and there's been a lot of drones that got missed early on. But the Danish security has heightened itself, and the EU security, they've heightened the security. The security is very, very heightened right now. Not necessarily on the ground, not this Trump style going to people's houses, banging on the door, saying, "Who are you?" and snatching babies out of people's arms. No, 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 no. Something way more sophisticated. The Trump administration doesn't even want to talk to American citizens about. They don't, the Trump administration doesn't do sophisticated shit or comprehensive shit, But after these hybrid attacks, the Danish military, they've stepped up some things in the EU security forces. They've been doing this lately for some time in different ways. But as you can see here, there's been sightings of drones in Norway and in Finland, and then now also in Denmark at some military installations, and also airports. Right now, but they arrested, as of late in the last 24 hours, they arrested an Iranian spy suspected in Aarhus, Denmark. A person suspected of espionage for Iran has been arrested in Aarhus, adding to the tensions over foreign intelligence. So obviously, this is going to be a dynamic where, where they're going to be, stepping up this thing about espionage. But my question is this: look at the United States of America. You see how the EU acts? Look at the United States of America. Have you heard one story about espionage coming out of the United States of America right now? No, the country is probably flooded with agents. But these are not the Hispanics. These are not Mexicans. These are not Central Americans. These are not South Americans. So they're not even talking about them. You never know. You don't know how many Russian spies there are in the United States right now, let alone any other. I mean, but you could see, it's just a dynamic to this. So in any case, this represents a new standard. I've been watching the Danish news yesterday, and of course the far right wing party. Denmark is is very difficult country. You could say not difficult, but it's not the easiest country to migrate to or to immigrate to because the laws are pretty strict. There's comprehensive immigration in Denmark. There's not comprehensive immigration in the United States of America. So Denmark looks at who you are, what you have to offer, what your reasons are, la la la, and they look at that, and then you even pay um, for not. We're not talking about humanitarian purposes. That's different. Humanitarian purposes is different. It's a different standard. Asylum seekers is a different standard. But if it's not asylum seekers, then you even pay a fee. You have to guarantee certain security things so that they know you're not so you're not putting pressure on the social services, right? And that's been common in Denmark for 20 something years now. You see what I mean? So that's not new in Denmark. But having said that, Denmark has does tend to welcome immigrants, um, but it has a different makeup. You're dealing with like a much smaller percentage, you could say, and in the U.S., it's been a little bit of difference because the political parties can't pass something in Congress together. They won't. The two parties or the three parties, Republican, Democrat, and Independent, they won't step up for the American people and just do something comprehensive all around instead of politicizing it. You know what I'm saying? But Denmark, they've been able to do that. The parties have been able to do a little bit more than just politicize. But in the last couple of weeks, you've heard the right wing attempt to kind of politicize things because they've been kept out of the loop mainly because of the center parties like the Social Democrats. They've kind of they're you could say they're not necessarily right wing. They're not MAGA like that. No, they're more center. You could say they're more like the classical Republican Party. You know what I'm saying? And but then they have one party called the Danske Folke Party that is more similar to MAGA. And lately, you could hear them speaking and trying to grab onto this culture war thing. But listen, again, if you want to know what the culture wars are about, here you go right here. This is what's behind it. Money folk. Folk that want to buy up everything and own your industry. And look, this is exactly what Elon Musk has been trying to do as of late in the UK. Use the culture war as a mask to attack a country that would not let him buy up everything. That's what this is about. You know, everywhere where these guys are not allowed to just buy up everything, then they use their social media platforms to attack countries. That's what Russia's been doing. Russia's been doubling down. So first you got Elon Musk using his social media platforms to spread culture wars, right? Nothing comprehensive, just spread hate, right? That's been the haven. Then you have before that it was Facebook, right? All these people getting tax breaks, by the way. A lot of them are, Elon Musk, for example, is getting federal dollars. He's getting the everyday taxpayers' dollars to fund his projects, right? But he's got three different citizenships. So the average American citizen has one. Elon Musk has three. So his loyalty to the United States and the taxpayer is split into three. Whatever he would say his loyalty is, it's a third of that if we just want to deal with the numbers. But he's been going after the UK, trying to spread his culture war thing, right? Because basically they're not going to let him buy up everything. And the EU unilaterally revoked Elon Musk just together as one big body, because the EU is the second largest buying market, you could say, in the world, right? It's huge in industry and it's huge in trade. They basically put out Elon Musk because Elon Musk didn't want to follow the basic standards in the EU, right? So Elon Musk has a grudge against the EU for that. So he's using this social media stuff as a way to wage culture wars so he can bag the money for himself. You see, Elon Musk could help solve poverty. Elon Musk in the United States of America, if he was a goddamn humanitarian, let me just say that he could help do that, but that's not what he wants. You see, because he doesn't think that way. And you have to understand the indication, one indication of that is that he would bold face lie in your face about his relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. He would lie. Not all people would lie. Some people would just keep it a secret and not say nothing about it. But this guy, when asked, he was one of the people that lied. And now that's coming out, right? So it's out there in the news. Now, here we go. Check this out. Hold on. Now, when you look at Peter Thiel, this is just the warm up. We're going to get into something else. I wanted to talk about Adam Mockler, which is a young guy who's from the Midas Network, who's really been ripping up shit. And you have to listen. I want to review some of his arguments, but listen to this. Look at this. Elon Musk holds 3 citizenships, one from South Africa. Put your hand up. Put a 1 in the chat if you got 3 citizenships. By the way, put a 1 in the chat if you got 3 citizenships, because I don't. I have 1. It's called the United States of America. Although I live in Denmark, I'm a resident here. But check this out with my kids and my family. Now check this out. Elon Musk holds 3 citizenships: South Africa, Canada, and the United States. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're not getting revoked, because he's supporting a regime that is out to actually revoke people's citizenships. That's literally talking about it. You see how that works? So what's good for the goose should be good for the gander, right? Peter Thiel. Why can't his shit be revoked? You see what I'm saying? They're literally promoting and funding a regime that is talking about taking away people's citizenship. Like literally. Okay. What about your citizenships? You got 3. Can't you give up 1? Can't you afford to lose 1? Why do you have to have 3? What makes you better than other people while you get their tax dollars? This is how American people need to start thinking, because this regime opened up the door for all of this shit. They wanted to weaponize immigration. So now they've weaponized it. But it shouldn't be reserved for just the poor folk or the middle class. We should be looking up at the elite. If you're MAGA, you should be pointing upwards and saying, yeah, what about you? What about you, Elon Musk? You have 3 different citizenships. Where does your loyalty lie, since a lot of my tax dollars go to you, Elon Musk? Peter Thiel. Yeah, it should go that way. J.D. Vance's own wife is an immigrant. Trump's own wife is an immigrant, and they weaponized immigration. Just think about that. Peter Thiel holds 3 citizenships: Germany, United States, and New Zealand. So here it is. Exactly. It's a big club. And I'm not in the club, millennial. I'm not even wanting to be in the club. I don't care about that club. I've had a beautiful life without even having to kiss ass to any rich person. I don't give a fuck about that. I want to be respected by the regular person, by the average person. And if you so happen to have a little bit more than me, hey, thou shalt not covet another person's possessions. You're supposed to respect another person. If that's what they earned, that's what they earned. Don't look at them for the things they own or possess. I'm just saying, for argument's sake, though, I'm just talking about average people that have a little bit more. There's always that dynamic, but we're not talking about a little bit more. We're talking about people that want to own every fucking thing. And that's a little bit different. And I'm not a part of that class. No. And I don't even give a fuck about it. I don't believe in treating people different. Why should the rules apply differently for them if it's going to apply a certain way to us? And MAGA folk, you need to start understanding. Stop shooting across the aisle. Stop shooting at people on the same level of life as you, other average everyday Americans. Shoot up. Point up. Point up. Because you ain't in that club either. Now here we go. Now let's get to the next part. Look at this shit. Yeah, they weaponized immigration. That's what they did. And hey, that's what it is. Now, again, I see there's not a lot of answers. So I'm going to ask again. John Public, that's not your real name. Josh Cooper, that sounds like a real name. John Public has a lot of statements. So, John Public, do you have 3 citizenships, John Public? Put a 1 in the chat, John Public, if you have 3 citizenships. Anybody that has 3 citizenships, put a 1 in the chat. Because if you don't, then you're nowhere near anyone like Peter Thiel. Okay, you see John Public, he's just yeah. He doesn't agree just because he doesn't agree. I got you. So you kiss ass to the billionaire class. I get you, John Public. So anyway, the rest of us, let's have a normal union job where we have health care, where we have health care and access to education. That's all we need to be happy. We don't need to be an elitist. This is crazy. Now, anyway, over to someone who disagrees with John Public. All right. And this is what I wanted to talk about yesterday. I didn't have time to go through it in the last podcast, but this is an amazing young man. I'm twice his goddamn age. His name is Adam Mockler. If you don't know his program, he's on YouTube. You need to go there and check it out. No, he hasn't been on YouTube. He hasn't been on CNN long. He's not part of the regular CNN old fart club or the regular anybody club. No, he's a young person. Okay. But you can learn something from young people too, if you want to, if you're open to learning something. But listen, I want people to pay attention to Adam Mockler's arguments, right? Because I share the same damn arguments, although we don't have the same color, we don't have the same background, but we're both Americans, okay? See the difference? My family has been in the country on both sides on both sides of my family since the colonial period in the United States, before it was even called the United States. Adam Mockler's family has not. He's from, I believe, maybe Polish. No, not Polish. I'm sorry. But he's Muslim. He's Muslim. His family's Muslim, and he's from another background, immigrant family. But we share the same ideas. You see, we share the same, or it's a very, very similar perspective on these matters, right? I'm twice his age. He's from another generation, right? But let's take a look at his arguments here, because this is what Elon Musk has been promoting through Trump. This is what Peter Thiel has been promoting through Trump. This culture war that if Americans fall for it, the same thing Russia has been supporting online with their online trolls. Russia tried to do this in the EU. Elon Musk tried to do this in the EU. They've been running this game on people trying to shake down countries. This is the game right here. This is what they've been doing, right? So they will give you an idea and try to spread and create a civil war in the United States of America. There's a party that has been getting help to do that. Now let's listen to it.
In its term, do you think Don Jr. would ever be investigated by Pam Bondi?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Wait, hold on. If he did a crime, I think, yeah.
No, he would not.
By the way,
Donald Trump Jr.
The Biden crime family.
You know that's not true.
Donald Trump Jr.
Wait, let's be clear.
Yes.
Let's be clear about Hunter Biden and what Hunter Biden did.
No,
if
we're talking
Don
about
Jr.
wasn't the
was
question.
sitting on the board of Burisma right now
Pam Bondi wouldn't do
and
anything.
was taking massive amounts of money,
You
I
got
have
making
no doubt.
crypto money
Again, I
on
actually
deals that
think
the
that loss matters.
Hold on one second. For an entire week, conservatives at this table and across the country argued that Jimmy Kimmel's suspension was solely a business decision by ABC and not at all influenced by the government. And then Donald Trump wiped it away. He again threatened ABC for bringing Kimmel back, and now his vice president is contradicting that, claiming that the administration's threats are all just a joke.
What people will say is, well, didn't the FCC commissioner put a tweet out that said something bad? Well, compare that, the FCC commissioner making a joke on social media. What is the government action that the Trump administration has engaged in to kick Jimmy Kimmel or anybody else off the air? Zero. What government pressure have we brought to bear to tell people that they're not allowed to speak their mind? Zero. We believe in free speech in the Trump administration. We are fighting every single day to protect it.
Now everybody knows that's bullshit. And this is Peter Thiel's boy. Peter Thiel bought J.D. Vance. Without Peter Thiel, the guy with 3 citizenships that gets government contract money, by the way, your tax dollars, right? He invested money in a culture war so he can buy up things, create confusion, right? And he can buy up broke ass MAGA folks' property. And this is what they're doing. See, there was a lot of people that use these MAGA folks in a lot of different ways. They've been trying to get access to public lands. They've been trying to get access to Native American people's lands too, right? And they've been using this certain groups of people in the country as a veil to try to say that it should be opened up to them. But the truth is that what they mean is that it should be owned by Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and the likes of them. That's what's going on. They don't give a fuck about any American. They are not loyal to the United States of America. And again, I'm not saying this out of hate. I'm saying, how the fuck can you be loyal to the United States of America when you have 3 different citizenships? That defies the whole fucking thing. That defies it. That means you're loyal to 3 different countries. That's fucking different. That's different. And that's very much different from the average American. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's not situations where people end up with 2 different passports. My kids have 2 different citizenships myself. That's not what I'm talking about. But they're not trying to own fucking Denmark. They're not trying to own the United States of America. They're not against universal health care. They're not against universal education for all. Okay. But secondly, I would even advise my kids at some point in your life, because you're children, you have the right to this dual citizenship. But once you become an adult, at some point, I don't think it's unfair to be asked to kind of choose something, you know? I don't think it's unfair myself to be asked to choose at some point, to choose what it is you want to do. You see what I mean? But here, again, we're talking about kids. There's also other nuances, people that are caught in the middle. But these people, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, they're not fucking in any of those situations. They're not caught in the middle at all. There's nothing they could be caught in the middle of. They're not forced to, they're not making tough decisions about what citizenship should they have. Should I be New Zealand? I wonder why I should be New Zealand. No. When you have money like this, you can live anywhere you want without the citizenship. You can. Trust me. I do. I'm not rich, and I can live in Denmark without being a citizen. That's the law. You can live in the United States of America forever. It's called permanent residency. You see what I mean? But you can't obviously live in 2 fucking places at one time all the fucking time, let alone 3. That makes no sense. It makes 0 sense. And these are the people, there's a lot of people that have dual nationality. Now, I'm not saying it should be thrown out, but we're not even talking about dual nationality with these guys. We're not even talking about doubling. We talk about 3. And look at what they're doing with it. They're waging culture wars. They're financing culture wars. This is this is bad. I'm just saying. But anyway, back to Adam Mockler. Let's listen to some more here.
Now, before we discuss, it's worth noting that Kimmel's return scored 3 times his average viewership on TV and 15 million views on YouTube. That's a lot of people, perhaps some Sinclair and Nexstar subscribers, but I can't imagine that the vice president is not aware of what actually happened here.
This is the delusion of this conversation.
Now listen to this guy. This is a guy who promotes Trump constantly on the right. And just listen to the arguments. Now look, Adam Mockler, again, he's a young man. He's in his 20s. Early 20s. And he's about to wipe the floor with this guy. And I want other young people to pay attention. Like, listen, what's going on is beyond race. What's going on is beyond color. What's going on is beyond ethnicity. This is about elitism, and that's different. This is about corruption and elitism masking themselves as nationalists, people that shouldn't even, how can you be a nationalist when you have 3 goddamn passports? I mean, this is what they're funding. Straight up. It's phony. It's phony.
He literally said that he was killed by somebody that was in Maga. That was a lie. We knew that wasn't true. And he refused to apologize.
Let me ask you
Real men with integrity walk out there and say,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So has Don Jr.
Now, but that's not true. He didn't say he was killed by somebody from Maga. He said he was killed by one of yours. That means a person born and raised in a gun state, a person born and raised in a Maga town, in a Trump town, in a Trump family. And who the hell told you that a person who's having a sex change or a person who's gay can't be anti-immigration, can't be anti-healthcare, can't be anti-abortion, can't be all types of stuff? Who told you that? That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy.
and Elon Musk and Senator Mike Lee apologized for saying that the Minnesota shooter was on the left?
I don't know if they have or not.
Okay, they haven't.
They have
Okay.
not.
So my point is,
case,
it's the exact same
I'm okay
thing.
with that. But Jimmy Kimmel, I think you can agree, this was a bigger issue at the moment.
That's
Now you can see here's what is proposed by CNN to be the left and the right. The guy on the right is supposed to be the left. They're the same. That's his point. We're not the fucking same. The guy on the left is trying to argue that it's the left that's even worse. So as a compromise, the left is supposed to say in this situation, we're supposed to say, yeah, well, you know what? We're the same. No, we're not the fucking same. Okay? It is these right wingers that have been fostering this type of hate and violence in the country. Not even just today. It's been traditional. You see what I mean? It's been for damn near 100 years now since the end of slavery, like straight up. And slavery didn't end that long ago. In case a lot of people don't know, you know what I'm saying? For a reference point, to qualify that, my great grandmother was born on a slave plantation, and yes, she died in Washington D.C. Yes, I know her in my life when I was a little kid. Yes, my great grandmother, sweet lady. So it's in my lifetime that's still affected. People in my lifetime have family members that were born on slave plantations in the United States. So just keep this in mind. Jim Crow was right-wing violence in the country.
it got more attention.
A lot more. He was crying on set.
But this was also a
He's
political.
crying on set, not
relevant.
crying for Charlie Kirk
But not
or
only
his
Minnesota,
wife.
but not
crying
only,
because
but not
woe
only,
is me in my career.
This is why this somewhat falls on deaf ears, because this is why those individuals who are not Democrats or Republicans find all of us to be full of it. Because the simple fact is, Don Jr. had a picture of a hammer in underwear after Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in his home, right? And so when you have individuals who do that, and then you say you have all these other talking points about people chanting and celebrating Charlie Kirk's death on the left, and you don't really give a complete look at the voices who are saying that we condemn that. But let me just say,
lie about it, though.
but if you want to talk about the lie, I mean, look at everybody on Fox News who lied about 2016. I mean, is that the barometer?
Let me give Adam a second.
I agree with Bakari. We should look at the full picture. If you want to talk about Erica Kirk, she said she doesn't hate the other side. Then Donald Trump came on stage right after and said, I do hate my opponents. This is the president of the United States, not some comedian. And by the way, it is so incredibly clear that Trump is pulling every lever possible to make sure that everybody consolidates around him ideologically, whether it's with Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air, whether it's with Comey. I mean, I did the research. Donald Trump's priorities are so off that he has mentioned Comey on his Truth Social 2,042 times.
Yeah,
how many times do you think he's mentioned?
How
many times has he mentioned inflation? How many times has he mentioned inflation?
Well, when you fix inflation, you don't have to mention it.
He did not fix it, and he's mentioned
he
it.
has.
He's mentioned it half as many times as Comey.
You're just wrong.
He's mentioned inflation half as many times as Comey on his Truth
Because
Social.
he actually
because
works
his
on it.
priorities
But
lie
again,
in petty vengeances. Ben, let me finish.
Go back.
His priorities lie as many times as Comey on his Truth
Because
Social.
he actually
because
works
his priorities
on it. But
lie
again, I
in
go back,
petty vengeances. Ben, let me finish.
Go back.
His priorities lie.
Ben,
We're talking about inflation right now,
priorities
not
lie
about
in
Jimmy
petty
Kimmel.
I'm just letting him
vengeances.
finish his point. Then we got to.
I'm just trying to say Donald Trump's priorities lie in petty vengeances, going after
Just fixes
Comey,
stuff.
going after Kimmel, and he's not
the economy
fixing this
good or
tariff
bad?
media. Right now, unemployment is up.
Look, so you see, he's going out. Adam is about to wipe the floor with these guys. And again, this is a young man, right, who comes from a Muslim background, immigrant background, right? I'm not a Muslim. My family comes from a Christian American background. Both sides of my family are from the colonial period before there was this United States of America, when the place was being colonized and fought over, right? So we don't have a lot in common. But what we do have a lot in common is what our perspective is on what's going on right now in the United States of America. So again, I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm a damn immigrant in Denmark myself. Although I'm an American citizen, I'm still an immigrant. It doesn't make a difference. My kids are first generation Danes. They're born here, but they're also American citizens. So I'm not against dual citizenship. But Elon Musk that's not his story. Peter Thiel, that's not his story. And they're using these arguments this culture war is a way to line their pockets and own the country. They're not doing it because they're loyal to the United States or they're invested in the United States. They don't give a damn. They will pick up their money and go anywhere else in the fucking world. They don't even need a citizenship to live well at this point. Their lifestyle has nothing to do with needing a citizenship. You don't need a citizenship to live in any place in the world. You can have a permanent residence. You can do a lot of different things, but this is not what these guys are doing. So it's worth people paying attention to it. MAGA people, you need to stop, and left people. If we have any brains, we will stop trying to hurt each other and attack each other and look at each other as the problem. Start supporting each other where we can and shoot up, like point up, because the people at the top of this have lied to you. This man, Elon Musk, has lied to you. He did have contact with Epstein and with Ghislaine Maxwell somehow. When he was asked a basic question about it, he lied. That is not a good thing to do if you want to be trusted at all. But the man chose to lie and cover up for some reason. That's enough. You see, that's enough. And he's funding culture war. See, without Peter Thiel and without Elon Musk, we would not have this culture war. And both of these men have 3 different citizenships. That's what we have to look at. That's really what we have to look at and ask ourselves, do we want a future? Because Russia knows that and is doubling down on the culture wars through the algorithms on the internet. China knows that and is doubling down on the culture wars in the United States through the internet. They all in this shit together. They know it. They know it. So just be careful. You got to decide what you want.
Is the economy good or bad right now?
We're going to leave it there.
Tariffs are making it worse.
All right, next for us, the president introduces a new renovation at the White House, and this one trolls his predecessor. Tonight, the People's House now has a trolling hall. The White House revealed a new presidential walk of fame with photos of presidents in order. But if you look closely, there is one particular president missing, or rather represented by something other than his face. Instead of a
culture war, you see that? Culture war. See, this is the way that and people are asking for proof. Look, I'm not here to deal with babies. Go out and do your homework. You see, I can send you his WhatsApp. Yo, Eric, exactly, man. Listen. No one's here to baby anybody. You don't have to agree. And if you're a troll, if you're not an American citizen, or you're not really trying to be real about the conversation, I'm not trying to engage you or baby you. This is obvious. Peter Thiel, look, somebody's saying you want proof. What? Why don't you know that Peter Thiel and Elon Musk have 3 different citizenships? Why don't you know that for yourself? It's public information. It's public information. Why don't you know this for yourself? That's what I don't get. This should not be a shocker. If you really care about the issues, you should know this already. You see, you should know this. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk both have 3 different citizens. They're citizens of 3 different countries. All right. So let me ask you this. Let me ask a question. If you have a citizenship to 3 different countries, how does anyone know which country you are most loyal to? That's a question. Now, here's another question. If you believe you can be loyal to one country and have 3 different citizenships, put a 1 in the chat. And if you don't, put a 2 in the chat. If you don't believe you can have 3 different citizenships and be loyal to one country, put a 2 in the chat if you don't believe that. But if you believe You can have three different citizenships and be loyal to one country. Put a one in the chat. Let me see. I don't see any ones. Jason Cougar, I don't see a one, Jason Cougar. I wonder why that is. John, no last name. I don't see a one, John. Why aren't you putting a one in the chat? I'm not understanding that, you know? Hey, El Sheepa Segment, I'm going to put a two in the chat because I don't understand rationally how that's possible. Fuck the opinions. I don't understand how it's rational on any level to be loyal to one country while having three different citizenships. I mean, what the hell? Explain that one to me. How does that work? Does that work in MAGA country? MAGA people. MAGA people. If you voted for Trump, how do you have three different citizenships but are loyal to one country? Explain to me how that happens. You know, I mean, why would a country want you? You're supposed to take an oath to the goddamn country. What the fuck? How can you take an oath to be loyal to the country? Why you take an oath? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You know, look at this. Sorry, hedge betting is not loyalty. Nobody needs a citizen that's fucking hedge betting their fucking loyalty to other countries. I'm sorry, yo. That's bullshit. You know, that's not keeping it real. My own kids are dual citizenships, but I don't have anything against at one point when they're an adult, somebody asking them, hey, you have to choose. There's plenty of people that are asked to choose. Did you know that too? It is true. And there's a lot of countries that don't allow dual citizenship at all. Did you know that? Did you know that? You see? So I'm not saying, and on top of that, you can live in another country without being a citizenship for the rest of your life. You can live there permanently. It's called permanent resident status. Why does anyone need three? Listen, what I'm telling you is that right off the bat, there's no rational reason for it. There's just none. It's not actually a good sign of something. So not when you're the person who's getting government subsidies, not when you're the person who's getting line share of
The photo of
federal
President
dollars.
Biden, there is a photo of an auto pen. Hilarious, I suppose. I mean, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the auto pen responding to this, by the way.
Feels very beneath the office, but I guess.
That I'm back now. I had to stop that file from running. But look, you get the point here. This is not a difficult point to understand. Yeah, there are cases where people have more than one citizenship. And I saw somebody said, someone was saying that war does things to you. Yeah, but war, why do you need three citizenships? Because of being an asylum seeker. And I'm not against asylum seekers. I believe in human rights for everybody, right? But we're talking about three men, two men, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the wealthiest man on earth. They are both, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, funding a culture war in the United States of America. They are funding a culture war. They're funding J.D. Vance, his rhetoric, and they're funding Donald Trump's rhetoric. And they're involved in culture war. That means that instead of doing things for the citizens of the country, they're distracting from it by using these tropes, like this thing that we were just witnessing, where they do the troll wall, where everyone's up there and then they take away Biden's face, because that's called culture war. It actually gives no value to the United States of America. What it does is feed hate, feed division, while the two wealthy men who fund it, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, have three different citizenships. Don't you find something wrong with someone who has three different citizenships being the primary funder of a culture war? You may as well call it an invasion, because it makes no sense. There's three different people that are not loyal to the United States there's two people that are not loyal to the United States of America. It's just that simple. And they're funding a nationalistic culture war, a war based on nationalism. That makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. That makes no sense. And again, you could always put a 1 in the chat. Can you have 3 different citizenships and be loyal to one country? Is that possible? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that's possible. If you think, because it should happen in your country too, by the way. If you think that that should happen, it should happen in any country on earth. People should have 3 different citizenships while they fund culture wars. Okay? If you think that sounds it's not allowed by most countries. Some don't allow dual citizenship. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. It doesn't make any damn sense. That's all I'm saying. I'm not against asylum seekers. I'm not against immigrants. I'm not against. I'm an immigrant myself. But there is no way in hell I would expect. And I live in Denmark, by the way, for people that don't know, as an American citizen. My kids have dual citizenship. But there's no way in hell I would think any Dane would be anywhere comfortable with someone having 3 different citizenships. 3, being a naturalized citizen and walking into their Treasury Department and changing their Social Security program or their social programs. Like, what fucking sense does that make? Listen to me, Denmark. No nobody in Denmark, and thank God, should think that's normal. Everybody in Denmark should think that's very fucking strange what's going on in the United States right now. I'm sorry, but people have to choose where their loyalties lie. And again, I live in Denmark as a resident. I'm not a Danish citizen. I don't need to be a Danish citizen to retire and die in Denmark. Okay? That's not what it's for. I'm happy being American. I'm proud of my country, and I'm actually proud to be an American. The day that I feel like I'm a Dane, I will ask for a citizenship the day I feel like it. But I'm not going to do it just for some phony ass reason. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, no Dane is expecting everyone to be a Danish person that lives here. Nobody's expecting that. All they're expecting is that you live here, you pay your taxes like everybody else, and you follow the laws. That's all they're expecting. And that, of course, that you don't hate their fucking country. That might be nice too. That's all that they're expecting. It's crazy. But the United States, you got 2 men. Peter Thiel, again. Peter Thiel. Just read it. Elon Musk holds 3 citizenships. While he's funding Trump's culture war, while he's spreading culture wars across the world, trying to take one to the UK, he himself has 3 different citizenships. And you can never say this enough. South Africa, Canada, and the United States. 3. How the fuck is he loyal to 1? Peter Thiel, the man behind JD Vance, has 3 citizenships. Why? And he's funding a person who is actively out there involved in a culture war, a quote unquote nationalistic culture war. For what nation? These aren't. How can you fund a nationalistic culture war when you yourself don't even have one nationality? What the fuck? It's very simple. It's very simple. Funding a culture war, funding a nationalistic culture war. Soros didn't fund a nationalistic culture war. He didn't go, and see, this is the difference. This is the difference. I mean, look, if you want to know who Soros is, where his citizenship is, look it up. Feel free. I'm not having an issue with that. But what I'm saying is that Chris Cesator, do you think that it makes any sense to have 3 different citizenships, but promote a culture war, finance political figures that are engaged in a nationalistic culture war while you yourself hold? You see what I'm saying? You got to unpeel the mask. You have to unpeel the mask. That makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And let me see here. Tana says, and a lot of people don't do this, but I do. Did y'all know that Elon Musk has more satellites in orbit than all other countries combined. Yes, Elon has more. Yeah, people should find that dangerous. People should think about this, and stop going for the culture war shit. Stop going for the attack on immigrants and being like, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. I don't need education. My kids don't need access to universal education. Nobody in my family needs access to universal health care. Fuck that. We don't need a job that actually allows me to afford to live an hour close to where in the vicinity of where I live. No, we don't need that as Americans. What we need is culture wars. This is what they're doing. This is what they've done. So again, I'm just saying now, back to Adam Mockler, because he raised a couple of good points, but I see I'm going to have to bring his video in. One of these videos was a little too long. So let me go back on this now. Let's go to this one. And let me go to four. Let me go to this one here. I'm going to pull. Oh, wait a second. Not that one. I'll go to these three right here. Hopefully that will come out better. All right, let's check this.
Immigration policies, you don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
Now, this is what they pulled up, right? They put ICE on the street with masks, right? The same party that didn't want to have comprehensive immigration reform, they chose to get rid of everything else and to just go for knocking on people's doors and dragging people out of their houses with masks on. That's what they chose. Now, in a country where criminals wear masks and don't identify themselves, you are likely to have a problem with that. In a country that people have experienced terrorism by the Ku Klux Klan for 100 fucking years, that is going to be a problem in a country where more weapons are proliferated per person than anywhere else on earth. Again, this is what Elon Musk and Peter Thiel funded. They didn't fund a party that wanted to have comprehensive immigration reform. They funded a phony-ass nationalistic party to spread hate. And now they're literally lying about the hate crime violence, in people's face. Not only did Elon Musk lie, right? Not only did Elon Musk and pretty much Peter Thiel he wasn't forthright. Peter Thiel wasn't forthright about his relationship and his contact to Maxwell or Epstein. No, they weren't forthright about that, right? But again, a person that they promote, J.D. Vance, he's not being honest about hate crimes. He's not being honest about it. So here you have it. The left, you could see here, the right wing is responsible for most of the violent crime. Look, U.S. criminal cases involving political violence. It's literally the right. And it's been that way historically. Murders, political, motivated left wing and right wing. It's been that way. The bottom line is that the right wing is responsible for 50% of the hate violence. We're talking about violence. Right? We're not talking about, we're talking about violence. Next comes Islamist. After Islamist comes left-wing political violence. So left-wing political violence is number 3. Right-wing political violence is number 1. And so-called Islamist political violence is number 2. Yet, the richest man on earth is funding people that lie to the American people. Again, if you think this is normal, while having 3 different citizenships, while owning one of the largest social media platforms out there. I mean, again, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, while they're having 3 different citizenships, they're both getting U.S. American citizens' tax dollars from all political backgrounds. No matter who you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, they're actually getting your tax dollars at the same time that they're funding people who are lying about political violence in the United States of America. I mean, this is what it actually is. This is what it actually is. And if you are a European nation, you should pay very close attention. If you're a European citizen, pay very close attention to how these people have taken the United States down. They have literally done this. Pay close attention because your country may not survive it. You see, your country may not survive it. Denmark may not survive it if they allow people like this to have too much power in their country. The UK definitely won't, although I think there's going to be some pushback. Germany wouldn't. None of these countries would survive this. I'm telling you. Russia and China used the right wing. They used the right wing to create culture wars, to destabilize and weaken the Western world. That is what they did. And people have to wake up from this spell. MAGA people in the United States of America and left people, we don't need to be fighting each other. If you're an American citizen, American citizen who has roots in the United States of America, left or right, we don't need to be fighting each other. We need to stop shooting across the aisle and start pointing up, because the problem is coming from the top down right now. The problem is totally coming from the top down. And why? And how is it coming from the top right now? Trump. He's a third generation American, right? That's what he is. His grandparents came to the United States of America, not mine. My grandparents on both sides of my family been there. Okay, their parents, my grandparents' parents were there. Okay, you see what I mean? And there's people on the right that have their grandparents, parents also. Okay, that's not Donald Trump. Again, his own wife is an immigrant. How many passports do his kids have? You have to think about this when you have people out there talking and spreading culture wars politically in the country that you live in. You have to ask yourself these days, how many passports you got, buddy? Let me know. Show me something. Qualify your opinion. You see? And when it comes to qualifying their opinions, these people fail miserably. They fail totally. Okay? They fail totally. And who am I talking? I'm a person with one passport. It's from the United States of America. Both sides of my family goes back to the colonial period. That's who's talking. I'm not a person spreading hate. I'm not a person spreading hate of any type of person. Okay? Not immigrant, not white, not black, not Asian, not gay, not straight, not male, not female. I don't fall for those dumbass arguments. Okay, we're all born equal and we should all have equal opportunities. And I'm also not supporting elitism. I live in a country where everybody has healthcare. That's Denmark, universal healthcare, and everybody has access to universal education. If you want to better yourself, you can, regardless of the situation your parents were in. You can if you choose to focus on that. That's where my mindset is. And as an American citizen, I know the United States can be way more better if we stop letting these people have so much fucking control and literally lie. Because you got to remember, these right-wing pundits, they're all in cahoots with Ghislaine Maxwell and Elon Musk. They're no different. They're no different. They think they can just come out on TV and lie. That's literally what they think. This is literally what they believe. This is literally what they have been practicing. Yes. The last Dallas shooter was not a leftist. Okay, so they need to stop spreading those lies. He was not a leftist. The person who killed Charlie Kirk was not a leftist. He was not a leftist. Okay, you can be gay or you could be whatever and still be a right winger. Okay, that happens a lot. There's right wingers that are gay in Congress. That happens a lot. Okay, there's right wingers that have been alleged to be involved in a lot of different things from the right wing in Congress and same-sex same-sex male prostitution. This is what has been alleged. So you have to get your mind out of this trope thinking where one thing is all you need to understand to qualify where a person is coming from. No, it's not one thing. You see, they use people's these ideas against people, So let's see here. Let's go on. Let me get in the chat then. Exactly, Lindsey Graham. Yo, what the fuck? I say live and let live. You control your own body. Women control their own body. Stop telling these same people will tell a woman she can't have an abortion when somebody raped her. These same people will tell a woman that, yo, if your daddy raped you, you need to have the baby. These same people will tell you that if this fetus is slowly dying in your body, you have to carry the birth and risk your own life. This is who you're dealing with. This is why it doesn't make sense. They're spreading death. These same people are right now removing vaccines from the table so everyday people can get sick, kids, and die. Literally. Folks got to wake up. It is divide and conquer, Jose. It is divide and conquer. A political affiliation shouldn't matter. I may lean right, but these stereotypes that we blind each other will be what keeps ignorance alive. We should give credit. Absolutely. I agree, His Majesty. Yeah, I mean, seriously, we have to make room for some kind of normalization and commonality based on facts. And these kind of tropes and misuse of information like this, we have to wake up because, again, Elon Musk has 3 different passports. His Majesty, how many citizenships do you have? I only have one. I only have one. I only have one country to claim. Would I fight for Denmark? Yeah, I will fight for Denmark because Denmark's a decent country and I understand where they sit on the global scale as allies with Americans and others. Of course, I would fight against Russia. I would fight to protect this country because Denmark's been good to me. Denmark's a decent place that the United States needs to learn something from and stop threatening. You know what I'm saying? But I would also fight for my country. But is my country invaded by people like Elon Musk right now? I would say yes. And I would say Danes need to pay attention to this. Other European countries need to pay attention to what these fucks have done because this is not good for the Western countries. This is not good for Western culture, Western civilization, if you want to call it that. This is not good. What these people have done, it's bad. It is bad right now. So let's see here. Let me see here. Let me get on with this thing. So as you know, this last shooter wasn't a lefty. And again, the family member says so, just like the family member of Robinson out in Utah says so. But any real American understands this because we have regional differences. We don't have to be that different, though. God damn. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in Washington, D.C., and I grew up born and raised in Washington, D.C., and I've been to the Midwest and traveled. I've stayed on farms for like a week or 2 at a time to learn how life is in other places. I've gone and lived it 2 weeks at a time or maybe a month in the North, in the rural areas, and to experience different things. I've traveled a lot of parts of my own country and outside of my country. At the end of the day, people really are not that different. If you just go out there and you listen and you think for a second and you try to be honest, MAGA people, East Coast people, people who live on the coast, blue state people are not that different from you. Guess what? We all need a decent job. We all need health care. We all want our kids to have access to education. That should be a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer in Denmark. It's a no-brainer in the EU. You pay just as much tax as people do in the EU. And yet, what do you get for it? We're subsidizing Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. We subsidize it. I mean, there are some differences, but do you need food on your table? Do you need to afford food if you live in the Midwest? If you don't, yes, you do. Do you need a decent access to higher education? Yeah, yes, you do. Do you need access to health care? Yes, you do. Do you need a place to rest your head and food on your clothes on your back? Yes, you do. You're not different in those ways. You are the same in those ways. Very much the same. You see, and that's the problem. This commonality is what taxes should be there for, supporting commonality, not for ripping people apart and going into these culture wars. You see, not for trying to control people's bodies, not for trying to tell a woman she can't have an abortion from a fetus that's going to kill her if she doesn't, not for trying to tell someone else what they can do with their own fucking body. That's crazy in a country that has a history of slavery. That makes no sense. That makes zero sense. That's crazy to try to control a woman's body in a country where women didn't have the right to vote. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. And it will never make sense. You have to let people be free to choose for themselves what is best for them. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And if you keep trying to force someone else that has the same amount of money as you, that works a job every day, that's struggling to survive for their family, if you keep trying to fucking control them, these motherfuckers like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel that have 3 different citizenships will own your fucking town and everything in it. That's what's going on. They're using the concept of nationalism to own everybody. That's not nationalism. Maga is supposed to be a nationalist party, and they're fucking owned and controlled and financed by motherfuckers with 3 different citizenships. Who are they loyal to? Who are they loyal to? Again, everybody in the chat, tell me how many passports you have. I'm going to start off myself. I'm a citizen. I live in Denmark, but I am a citizen of one country. Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are citizens of 3. How many are you citizen of? Put it in the chat because I want to use that to qualify your answers. We don't have to have the same answers, but how many citizenships do you have? I have 1. I only have 1. I only have 1 body. I don't tell you what to do with your body. I only have 1 citizenship. I don't, I'm not funding a nationalistic party while I have 3 fucking citizenships. Okay? you know, Again, I'm not telling you what to do with your body. Okay? I'm not telling you who you are, who you need to be. That's not my agenda. This your body, my choice, my wallet, my choice. Yeah, but you're getting subsidized. Well, yeah, my wallet, my choice. Well, then why is Trump now taking tariff money, which I didn't ask him to do, to give to farmers because he fucked up the trade? Why is that happening? That's happening with my tax dollars, my tax dollars. You see how dumb this comment is? That makes no sense. Do you understand how much of your tax dollars is going to all kinds of shit that doesn't have anything to do with you? It's going to fucking Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. What the fuck? What are you talking about? It's not your tax dollars, your wallet. Are you out of your mind? You're giving your fucking money to people that have 3 goddamn citizenships. It's not your fucking, you're about to be a slave. Who the hell wrote that? Who wrote that? Benjamin Baird, you're about to be a goddamn slave. That's what you're about to be. You need to wake up, you know? You need to wake up. That is the most, my wallet, my wallet, my money. Duh. Man, this is crazy. Okay, so I'm thinking, Benjamin, how many citizenships do you have? 1 or more? Tell me how many you have. Dan West, how many citizenships do you have? Are you lucky like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel? Do you have 3 citizenships or do you have 1 or 2 or 5? I don't know. Kagar, how many citizenships you have? Sassy Moses, how many citizenships you have? Just curious. I see Mr. Anger Issues has one. Eric has one, but adding another. There you go. I'm not saying there's not nuances there. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Okay. Bobby, how many citizenships do you have? Are you like Elon Musk? Okay. Shine has one. Has two. Okay. I see you. Hey, my kids have two. Government going to save me. Garrett Breach, how many citizenships do you have? One or more? Are you lucky like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel to have three? Where do your loyalties lie? You know, what country? Those of you that have two or three, where do your loyalties lie? That's what I would like to know. If you have three, because I believe in nuances, so I'm not picking on people with two, because I know there's circumstances where that actually makes sense. It's about human rights, and sometimes it's more complicated. But that ain't Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. You know what I'm saying? So I see nobody in here has three. So, yeah. On that note, but any case, I'm going to be back. Jose, yeah, there you go. It's true. There's nuances there, and I'm not saying there's not. And I understand the nuances, because I believe in human rights, and so we don't need to repress people through laws either. So sometimes things are more complicated, and I understand that, But again, I live in a foreign country and I have one citizenship, and I'm not a citizen of the country I live in. I don't get to vote for who the prime minister is, but I get to vote in the local elections, in the commune elections. Am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. And do I pay taxes? Yes, I pay taxes. Um, do I have a peaceful life? Yes, I do. Do my kids have access to any school they want to go to? Absolutely. Do they have access to any medical care that they need? Absolutely, they do. And I do also. And if I want to go back to school, I can go back to school if I want to, because that is what life is like in Denmark. That's what people pay their taxes for. The United States, people pay the same amount of tax. What the fuck is going on? I understand it because I'm from Washington, D.C. We pay basically the same taxes. What the fuck is going on? New York, Cali, all these places. What the fuck is going on? And actually, it comes down to this. Before I cut out, I've gone over this math before, and we've shown it and brought it up on the screen in detail before. Just for American citizens to know, when you compare the United States citizenship and expenses, cost of living, this is before the new Trump inflation. This is before. Right? American citizens take home less money after paying their taxes and paying their expenses than EU citizens across the board. So you got to understand that. While some people keep saying, hey, yeah, but you pay high tax. Yeah, but we take more money home in our pockets after all our expenses are paid. Duh. Okay? We get shit for those taxes. What do you get for your taxes? That's the point. Every American needs to think, what do I get for my taxes? And you MAGA people definitely need to be thinking that. What the fuck do you get for your taxes? Stop saying your money, my wallet, my tax. Think about what you get. The point is more nuanced. It's about what do you get for your taxes. Right now, you have a president that doesn't even want to give you disaster relief, and you already paid the money. You already paid the taxes, and the dude don't even want to give you the money back. It's crazy. He wants to withhold money that other states earned and are paying into your disaster relief. And he's saying, nah, President Trump is literally saying California shouldn't give no money to Texas for disaster relief. California shouldn't give no money to Louisiana for disaster relief. That's what Trump is saying. That's culture war. That's crazy. You see, that is crazy. So on that note, I'm going to be out, y'all. I'll be back later on today. And I appreciate everybody that came out and gets the message, the point of this message. If you want to know, I'm an American citizen, born and raised in Washington, D.C., born in Freedmen's Hospital. So that should be an indicator of my age. Love my city where I grew up. Love my country where I'm from. But my country got problems, and I do live outside. Where do I live outside? I live in the nation of Denmark. Do I respect the country and the culture and the people and the history? I definitely do. I'm a history lover. I know about global history, but I also know about European history, and I know about Scandinavian history and the Scandinavian people. I know a lot. I know a lot now, even though we don't get a chance to discover to talk about a lot here. There's a lot to be discovered. But one thing, if you're not into the history, what Americans need to do is not listen to Donald Trump when he talks about Denmark. Do not listen to more Danish people by percentage died in this war against terror, in these wars. Trust me. And if you don't trust me, go look it up. By percentage, more Danes sacrificed their life in at places like Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah, they're at the top of the list by person, by percentage. So for our president to be dealing with them in a hostile manner is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. It is really something American people need to wake up to. Denmark is a strategic player in the United States security. You have to understand that. And not just Denmark, the Baltic states are. You have to understand that. Because Russian submarines would only be coming out with more vigor if these countries were not allies of the United States of America. So we have something in common. It's not Denmark that's been trying to interfere and tamper in United States politics, but the United States has tried to tamper in with theirs now. So see, now something has changed there. You see? So there's other nuances too. Greenland don't want to fucking be governed by Donald Trump or the United States of America when you can't do better than what Denmark has been doing. Duh. What the fuck? Every Greenlander knows that. Don't be fooled by the news. The United States does not take care of its own citizens like Denmark takes care of its. The United States does not do right by its own citizens as European nations do by theirs. This is very simple to understand. Okay? And if you're going to be paying taxes, you need to start there. Fuck everything else. Start with that one, and then maybe some things will do better. And at the very least, demand that these people with 3 goddamn citizenships don't fucking support and fund culture wars that want you dead. Elon Musk doesn't give a fuck about anybody, any MAGA person. Peter Thiel doesn't give a fuck. Did you read J.D. Vance's book? He's calling you stupid. And that's exactly what you are, MAGA people. He literally called you stupid, and he called Donald Trump a Nazi. And you still don't fucking understand what's going on. Like, wake up, y'all. Like, really, you need to wake up. This shit got to stop. And the quicker it stops, the faster some healing is going to come, especially to your pocket. Because right now, an economic disaster is about to fucking hit the United States of America, and it's about to hit red states first, because you are vulnerable. You needed the federal government assistance more than anyone else. And not that everyone shouldn't get it, because it's our fucking money in the first place. Okay? Stop letting these government people talk about federal dollars like it ain't our motherfucking money. Yes, it is our money. We're the ones paying it. 75% or higher of the federal operating budget of the United States of America is paid through payroll taxes. That's people that check in 9-to-5 jobs. So in any case, I'll be back with y'all in a few. Peace, y'all. Everybody have a good night's sleep. Have a good morning if you in this part of the world. In Australia, damn, what is it? Afternoon over there? Y'all probably already at work. In Asia, peace, y'all. I'll be back with y'all in a minute. I appreciate everybody. Be good.
war. Crying babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day and every clue. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and I feel we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like the lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even